Life lessons mean the forms of experiences, the different types of knowledge that is gathered on the journey that you call life.
We learn every day. Life is all about learning and experiencing.
So my life lessons have helped me to become more aware about myself.
Oh, how I would like to describe my own life lessons, I would say in a simple word that it has been very intriguing, because like lessons, life lessons do not come to you clearly. You do not even know that that's supposed to be a lesson for you to learn or something for you to learn. In most cases, you never know until you're done with the process. So of course, I think my life lessons have been very intriguing, learning to respect myself and be honest with myself.
I share my life lessons with people. It's easier to share them with people who are close to you. So you have siblings, colleagues, you have people who are from your environment, where you reside. But I think also that I share it mostly with people who are facing the type of challenges that I have faced, and people who that information will help make their life easier.
I think how I would describe mine has just been a whole lot of learning experience for me as a young person, learning my own life lessons and making sure that I never forget them, and I keep rehearsing and I keep doing the right things over and over and over again. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching today. You are on the show Emotions with Omenesa. And this show is pretty much a show where I encourage you to not allow your emotions control you, but rather control your emotions. On this show, we have talked about so many things, from suicide to low self-esteem, to infidelity. I mean, I love this show. I don't know about you, but I love it. But then again, you probably love the show, and that's why you're watching right now, so yay! Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. My topic today really is simple: my life lessons. My life lessons. I have spoken to you about me having a spinal disease called scoliosis. It's something that I live with. It's something that is there. And it's so funny that when I minister, whenever I go out to sing or when I pass through a metal detector, the rod in my spinal cord reminds me that something happened a few years ago. And so one life lesson that I've learned from that is that sometimes you may heal completely, but you will still have scar tissue. And having scar tissue simply means that you will have a scar, like there will be a sign that you went through something. There will be like some kind of signal that something like this happened in this person's life. And even though that may seem like something to be embarrassed about, I don't see it as an embarrassment anymore. It used to be an embarrassment for me. When I walk into a prison to sing and to encourage people, right before I walk in, right when I walk in through the metal detectors, it just makes a very loud noise. When I'm at the airport, it's making a loud noise. And it's not just about the noise. It's about the pain that I feel almost every night, feeling so uncomfortable. It's either my husband is massaging me, or I have staff massaging me, or I have my husband's nieces and nephews just working so hard, massaging the back. You know, every process comes with pain. Every process comes with pain, but your pain doesn't have to be permanent. So right now, I have learned this lesson that your pain does not have to be permanent. I have been through pain, But that pain of scoliosis, that pain of paying over $65,000 in cash, that pain of having to watch my parents cry and beg God to heal their child, that pain of having to recuperate for about a year, that pain of God not healing me but managing the situation, that pain alone is no longer there. Right now, it just serves as a reminder. Right now, it just serves as an event that took place in my life, but an event that I overcame. An event that I overcame. So for those of you who are watching, there is something that you're going through right now. There is a process that you are in right now, but that process is part of your story. That process is part of your journey. That process is what actually makes everything sweet. You know, when they read your bio or when they talk about you, people are still living because of you. And that is a big encouragement for me. Whenever people see me, like they bump into me at the mall, or I check my emails or check my Facebook messages there, people who say, oh my God, that message or that speech or that testimony you gave, oh, it was just so encouraging. Oh, you're so inspiring. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, and that may seem like something that should make my head swell, but the truth is that the more I hear about those things, the more humble I become, because I realize that I am not who I am without all the things that I went through. So another lesson is that you do not just go to your problems. You don't stop there at the door. You go through them. You go through them. You can't just stare at your problems in the face and be angry at them. Why are you here? Why did you come into my life? After all that I've been through, after my pedigree, after my surname, after all the children I have, after all the years of experiences that I have, why, situation, why are you here? Why are you mocking me? Why are you ridiculing me? No. There was one of my shows where I talked about living in a wilderness, and when you get beaten by a snake, you don't question the snake. When life beats you up, slaps you in the face, spits you out, you don't ask it, oh, why did you do that? No. You pick yourself up and you keep walking. In life, you have to keep walking. That's one of my life lessons, is I keep walking. You see, there was actually a time, I remember when I did a 4-year sabbatical in Nigeria, and I was exercising. I exercised every morning, 5 a.m. or sometimes like even 4. But there was this morning that it was still dark and it was 6 a.m. But it was still dark outside. And as I was running, I fell into a ditch, like I fell into a pit, okay? I fell into this very, very deep pit. There were all kinds of things in it. Algae and smelly water and just all kinds of things. And I was screaming, you know, and supposedly there was a really, really small ladder that was in there. So I fell and my hand was like I fell, kind of knowing that I will fall, even though I didn't know that I will fall. But you see, that's another thing about life, is that sometimes even when you are going to fall, life has a way of still giving you a ledge, of still giving you something to hold on to. It's just that we are so discombobulated and we are so confused about what we are going through that we don't even see that there is a window. We don't even see that there is just one little thing that is still holding us, just one little thing that can still give us faith. When I fell into that ditch, I actually fell with my hand, and my hand hooked on that small ladder and my legs were kicking at the bottom. And I was screaming for help. I was screaming, help, help! And 2 men just ran out of nowhere. Really, they were angels, because that road was lonely and it was dark. And somebody may say, why will you be running at that time of the morning? No, that had always been my routine. So that's another life lesson. The fact that you've been doing something all this time does not mean that you're always going to have the same end result. I'd been running on that same road every single day. I had taken that same route every single day. Why did that happen at that time? Because at that time was when that was supposed to happen. So whatever you are going through right now, it is supposed to happen. It is actually part of the plan. It's part of the journey. When I fell into that ditch and I called and I screamed out, people came. 2 people came, and when they drew me out of that place, it seemed like I was fine, though I had a very, very long scratch on my abdomen. which I was very sure was just going to go away, you know, like we could just spray some alcohol or spray some spirit or spray some perfume on it and it would go. By a few hours later, my stomach was inflated and it was huge. I couldn't believe it, and then the pain really came. As in, the pain came, my clothes couldn't fit me. It was ridiculous. But I was also scheduled to sing on that night at a very big church in Abuja, Nigeria. And I remember going to that program at that church with a bulging stomach. I looked 9 months pregnant. And I sang that song like it was the last day that I would ever sing. I gave it all I had. You should have seen my Brazilian hair. It was on point. My makeup was on point. Everything was on point. Why? Because as far as you are still alive, you still owe it to yourself and to the world to show up. What are you showing up to? So, as you show up, there has to be purpose in your purpose. There has to be intentionality in your intentions. You actually have to have a plan if you're going to succeed in this life. Those are one of the lessons that has helped me. Another lesson that I have learned in my life is to be good to people. I think that because I was raised as an only child and I was pretty much given everything I wanted, I thank God that my dad was also a very, very tough one. He was a disciplinarian and he taught me how to fight for everything. Like, my dad actually raised me like he was not going to be there forever. So he made sure that he gave me as much as I wanted so that I wouldn't go outside to look for it. But he also left room for me to realize that I do have to work for whatever I get. And then my mom was just the prayer one. And she still does. She would see me like going the wrong road. She really didn't have the energy. Like, she doesn't have the energy to be like, come back here. She would just sit you down for 1 minute. If you like, listen. If you like, not here. She will tell you just for 1 minute that the Lord knows the way through the wilderness. All you have to do is to follow. And then she'll do one long prayer, like 45 minutes. And of course, like when she's praying, like I'm rolling my eyes like, I beg. Let her finish. Let her hurry up. As a matter of fact, when I was in my second year in college, she was living in Ohio and I was living in Texas. And so I barely saw my parents when I was in school. But on my birthday, when parents were sending their children wristwatches and dresses and gift cards, my mom sent me a prayer book, a very thick one, with different topics. Prayer for depression, prayer for low self-esteem, prayer for healing, prayer for bulging eye, prayer for big stomach, prayer for pregnancy. When I looked at that book, I said, man, this woman is wicked. She couldn't even send me a perfume. Estee Lauder, Elizabeth Arden. No. She sent me a prayer book. In fact, it was one brown, ugly looking thing like that. Man, when I saw the cocoa of marriage at the beginning, I was looking everywhere for that book. See? I was already a full-grown woman. I was already grown. I was a wife. But I went into my university books and I was looking for where I dumped that book. You see, sometimes in life, you just have to listen to advice. Really. When older people are talking to you, they know what they are saying. And you cannot get around anything without serving someone. You can't. First of all, without serving a God. So that God may be Buddha, that God may be Muhammad, that God may be Jesus Christ, whatever. But you do have to have something. A higher power, the universe, whatever you want to call it. You have to be accountable to something and give glory to something. And then when you do that, I'll tell you when I come back. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about my life lessons. I have talked about having a spinal disease and how I don't let it just keep me down. As a matter of fact, if I don't tell you, you would never know. That's not because I'm in pain, but that's because that, excuse me, that's not because I'm not in pain, but it's because that I have come to a stage in my life where I realize that my pain is your gain. I am a catalyst. My pain and your pain is for the benefit of someone else. Now, does that mean that you should walk around inflicting pain on yourself? No. But it also means that you should appreciate everything that you're going through, even your scar tissue. Even the scar tissue, because even the scar tissue is a sign that you went through something. It is a sign that you overcame. It is a sign that you are stronger than you think you are. It is a sign that even when you attempted to kill yourself, it didn't work, because you're even tougher than death. You are tougher than a dead end. You are smarter and sharper than a two-edged sword. In this journey of life, you have to be friendly. You have to be good to people. You have to be kind to people. You have to think before you speak. Trust me, I have lost friendships because my mouth just kept going. I'm just talking. Half of what I'm even saying does not even make any sense. I'm just trying to have a conversation. Meanwhile, you're stepping on people's toes. So I have realized that, you know what? I am actually going to need people in this journey that I'm going. I'm going to need people. You're going to need people. So you have to slow down. That is one of the lessons that I've learned. If you're just tuning in, I've been talking to you about my life lessons. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in living. I have learned how to work a job that I hated. I was a cashier for many years. Oh my gosh, I hated my job. I didn't like the fact that people would come, throw all their items at me, and then I'm beeping it and beeping it and beeping it, and then I pack it, and then they go, and I say, oh, thank you so much for coming, or oh, do come back again, and some of them don't even answer you. I didn't like that job, but it was part of my process. Today, I am actually into the business of buying and selling. But you see, life has a way of bringing you back to something that you don't like. There's some things in life that will just come at you that you don't like. I didn't like the fact that my hand went through glass when I was younger, and everything here was ripped. Blood was gushing out. Took weeks to heal. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that for almost 6 years, my husband and I have been trying for a baby. I didn't like that. I didn't like having to go through an IVF, which is a lot of money, and it was still failed. 3 embryos were transferred into my womb, and it still didn't work. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that after being married for so long, I didn't have anything to show based on the Nigerian standard that I didn't have a child. I didn't like the fact that people would ask me, oh, how are the children? How are they doing? And then when I tell them that we don't have any, the next thing that comes out of their mouth, oh, don't worry, my dear, God will do it. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that God did not heal the scoliosis that I have. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that I've had to live in different states. When I was younger, I lived with many, many people because I just lived a missionary's life. I didn't like that, but it was part of my process. And there are some incidences that I did like, and it's still part of my journey. Whatever you're going through right now, and it seems like hell, I'm telling you, if you just stay the night, really, if you stay the night, if you look at a stone and it is durable and you can use it as a pillow, why not? Rest on it. Who even said that you need a pillow in this life? Just put your hand there and sleep. As long as you don't die, as long as you don't kill yourself. See, there are many lessons that I've learned in this life. I've learned to be a giver. I've learned to give. I give my money. I give my time, I give my ideas, I give my heart, but guess what? I've also learned not to give too much. You also have to give to yourself. With the same measure in which you're giving to other people, give that same measure to yourself. There is nothing wrong with it. The good book says, love your neighbor as yourself. So you kind of have to love yourself before you love other people outside. I have learned that. I have also learned how to conform. I lived my whole life in the U.S., so my American accent is absolutely impeccable. I'm not faking. This is how I talk, okay? But I've also learned how to conform. That if I'm speaking to Nigerians or if I am in an African setting, I may have to conform. And conformity does not mean lowering your standards. Actually, it is a compliment on your part. If you can conform, it doesn't mean that you should compromise. Conformity is totally different from compromising. But in order for people to trust you, and in order to be credible, and in order to be understandable, sometimes you will have to conform. So don't be a straitjacket. Be a rubber band. Be very, very flexible. Don't put yourself in a very straight way. This is how things are going to be. This is how I'm going to talk. This is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to wear. This is how I'm going to address them, whether they like it or not. No. I'm talking about addressing people. It's not everything that you confront. I've also learned that in life. There's some things that you just see in life and just keep walking. Especially when you know that you're not going to see the person again. I don't understand why you'll be beating up somebody in the market when you know that you're not going to see them again. Or you're going to be flicking your finger at a driver on the road. Are you going to see the person again? No. Are you going to have to put up with them? No. So why do you feel the need that you have to respond? I must show you who I am. Do you know who I am? Who the heck are you? You are still a speck of dust as far as I'm concerned. I am a speck of dust. You are a speck of dust. We were all made from dust. So, brings me to another point. You're not better than anybody, and you would never be. You would never be. Be kind, be humble, be thankful that you are still here. It's not you that kept yourself. It's not you that kept yourself. For those of you who don't believe in God, there is something that still kept you. It still wasn't you. It was not you. So you have to be thankful for that thing. Since to you is not God. You have to be careful, to be grateful for that thing. Maybe it's an enzyme. Maybe it's a chromosome. Maybe it's a, I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe it's a mini God. I don't know. Whatever it is. Maybe it's even an animal in your psyche. Whatever it is, something has kept you here. And you have to be thankful to it and be humble that you are still here. It's I, Omenesa, and I've been sharing my life lessons with you. It's a lot. It's a lot of lessons. I have discussed about the processes that you have to go through in life. There are just so many processes that you go through in life, and don't jump out of the process. So, what is my point? My point is that in this life, there are no shortcuts. Every shortcut is a dead cut. Every shortcut is a dead cut. And you have come too far to bleed to death by your own hands. So my encouragement to you is pass every exam that comes to you the first time. Because life has a way of bringing it back. Until next time, enjoy yourself. Have a great day. Emotions with Omenesa.
You will have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.